Bo, an old healer, loved him in the way of dogs. But then, Bo loved everyone. It had been his habit to listen to the radio in the evening, a program of songs that had been popular when he was a boy in the 1940s. When Trudy left, Tom lost his appetite for music and gave up listening. But with an empty Christmas facing him, he saw the need to heave himself out of the dumps. He turned on the radio and sat listening in his armchair. Trudy had scorned his 40s music. She liked pop music on 3UZ. She danced by herself and made dramatic faces and sang along and giggled. She didn't expect Tom to join in. But it was Trudy's strange game played with 3 decks of cards that Tom found himself recalling, seeing so vividly the form of his wife leaning forward on the sofa with her chin resting in her hand and the cards in small heaps all over the low table. He understood suddenly a comment she'd made not so long before she left. She talked a lot when she was playing the game with the cards, such things as "clever girl" and "whoops-a-daisy." But the comment Tom had just recalled was different. At the time, he'd thought it part of her strange 3-deck game. It wasn't. It was something intended for him. "Another night in paradise," she'd said, moving one small pile of cards to the edge of the low table. Tom stood up from his armchair and stared straight ahead. Why had it taken him so long to understand? Another night in paradise. He stamped through the house, arms folded tightly over his chest. All the things he might have done to make his wife happy crowded his mind. A record player, songs that she could choose for herself, a television set on hire purchase, a proper bathtub, not that half-rusted tin thing. He ran to the kitchen and found a piece of paper and a black pencil. He wrote in a frenzy a list of the things he would do to make a difference if Trudy should one day come back. When he'd exhausted his initial inspiration, he strode up and down the passage, trying to think of more items. Whenever a new idea came to mind, he rushed back to the kitchen and added it to the list. 4. Picnics. 7. Pets, cat, bungee. 9. Light fire kitchen first thing. Outside, Bo ran yelping along the veranda from the back door to the side door, excited by the movement inside the house. More items occurred to him over the following days. Tell her about good things she does. Such as what? Like when she doesn't burn the sausages. And when he'd had that pain in the guts, she'd asked him 3 times if he was feeling better. Like when she says, "How are you feeling?" But one afternoon, in the kitchen for a cuppa, he glanced down at his list on the table and noticed how hard he'd pressed the pencil into the paper. This was mad, wasn't it, making notes? Tell Bo not to jump up on her. An image formed of Bo listening to him, head cocked. Tom smiled and made a mental note on a different list. Don't be an idiot. Trudy had told him once, smiling, that he was unbalanced, the way that he'd stick with some problem about the farm for hours, for days, studying the habits of the codling moth until he'd all but indexed the physical and mental processes of the insect. She'd mimicked him perfectly, the way he wandered up and down, arms crossed, head on his chest, mumbling his thoughts. He'd enjoyed the mickey-taking. Also Trudy's low gurgle of laughter at the end of her performance. He would blush, loving what she did with him. In time, Tom came to believe that it was the farm itself that had driven Trudy away, not the lack of a budgie in a cage or a proper bathtub. He thought, if she gives me a second chance, we'll move to the city. The farm had come to him from his bachelor uncle, and although he liked the work the place gave him, the land was not in his blood. He could easily go back to the city in his old employment in the tramways workshops. Trudy was a city girl after all. He'd met her at Luna Park on one of his annual trips to see his sisters in Melbourne. It was no wonder the rain and the mud had worn her out. Now, to the devil with the blessed farm, he said aloud above the roar of the tractor carrying mulch up to the orchard. If only Trudy came back, to the devil with it. In the city, they'd have the pictures every week. The first time he took Trudy out was to the picture.